Hello, everybody. Happy Monday to you. I am reeling today in a really cool, really uncomfortable way from a class that I did this weekend with Dr. Jane Heer, who's one of the co-creators of Access Consciousness, called The Energetic Synthesis of Being. And this class is indescribable. Truly, it's a class that he does, regularly, and yet it's never ever the same. It's always a brand new experience and exploration of energy, of being, and of basically letting go of the structures that we put in place in our lives to stop us from being. And it's a deep kind of, it's a deep exploration that is one that has contributed so much to me. And I'm just so grateful. One of the things about Access Consciousness that has been so incredibly valuable for me is to recognize that I am an infinite being. I'm not this person that I think I am. I'm not my personality. I'm not my persona. I'm not my past. I'm not, who I think I'm supposed to be, or who my parents have told me that I'm supposed to be, or who the world tells us we're supposed to be. And what happens is we layer, we are these infinite beings that come, we choose a body, we come to this planet. And for me, this is just what's true for me. This may or may not be true for you. But I'm just sharing my perspective on things and some of the stuff we explore in Access Consciousness. It's like we come and we, are like, I'm going to play on this planet right now. This time around, I'm going to have a life and a living and a experience of being alive in a body. And, but we can, as a being, as an infinite being, we really have access to like the entirety of the universe. We are oneness. We are consciousness. We are the universe. But we come in and we, come into these families and as we, once we really start school, turn 5 or 6 years old or so, we start to learn and be educated in how to become little adults, how to function in this reality, how to function not from infinite being, but from finite being, from personality, from persona, from all the things that the people around us need to be, and also all the things that the people around us need us to not be, that we actually are. And what happens is we layer and layer and layer and layer on top of this beautiful infinite being that we are. And you can see this like with babies. Babies are an infinite being in this beautiful, pliable body, and they're just like these incredible creatures, and babies, like the vulnerability and the presence of babies can melt universes. But as we get educated how to live in the world, we pile on all these layers of poo, basically, on top of this beautiful infinite being that we actually are. And as we do that, we deny ourselves access to everything that we know, everything that we be, everything that we're capable of perceiving and receiving, which as an infinite being, when we're functioning from infinite being, knowing, perceiving, and receiving, which is something that we play with a lot and open up a lot in Access Consciousness and definitely in the ESB class this weekend. When we give ourselves access to that, that's where the magic is. That's where we begin to, we actually have the capacity to create anything that we would like to create. And the irony is that we become so much more effective in the world as creators. if we are actually giving ourselves access to everything that we be, know, perceive, and receive as an infinite being in this incredible body that has a consciousness of its own. And that's a story for another time. Maybe I'll do some more on that on Thursday this week. But we truly, we just like bury ourselves. Basically, we bury our being, and then we don't get to have the joy of being us. Dane here wrote this beautiful book called Being You, Changing the World. I highly recommend it. It was such a game changer for me. It has been a game changer for a lot of people. And it's one of the things that we do in Access Consciousness and in all the classes, really, in various ways, is explore being and getting more to being, the beautiful being, knowing, perceiving, and receiving that we know we be as infinite beings. And that's where you can, some people call it like intuition. I would call it knowing. But we bring so much information with us to this lifetime, to this planet right now, that is so, so unique. And we make ourselves so wrong when all of that we know doesn't seem to fit with the world around us. And as we start to be educated to be little adults, we give up the very things that we know that make our lives wonderful and phenomenal and fantastic. We give it up in favor of the world around us and in favor of what the world is telling us, we need to be, and also kind of more importantly, what we need to not be. And we debilitate ourselves in what and how we can create in this physical world. And so it affects our money flows, it affects how we are with business, it affects so many different areas. It very much affects our bodies, and we just debilitate everything from the greatness that we could be, that we could have, that we could create, into the smallness of somebody that fits into a reality that is not really very friendly towards an infinite being. It's more about functioning as a finite person. And so these classes that I take and facilitate over and over and over and over, I never tire of them, because there's always something new to explore around how much more access I can have and we can have to our being. And I've seen again and again and again that the more we give ourselves, and for me and for all the people that I work with, the more we've given ourselves access to being, knowing, perceiving, receiving, functioning as an infinite being, and having a communion with our bodies, the more fruitful, abundant, creative, generative, joyful, expansive our lives become. And it's a process that is not really for the faint of heart. It requires us being willing to be very different from the rest of the world. And it also is such an honor and a joy and a privilege and an adventure to be on the path, the many, many, many paths of exploring how to live as the energetic being, for me, as the energetic being that I am. I'm exploring the magic of me, the magic of us, the magic of being. So I'm just really grateful and wanted to share some of that with you all today. And there's so many resources for more of this. All of these videos, my podcasts. Dr. Dane here has a tour of consciousness. Right, wrong, good and bad, Whoopsie. All nine, short. There he is. That's so funny. I was trying to mess with my computer. But he has a tour of consciousness series on his YouTube channel. And there's just, there's so much available. And any access class is somehow gonna, expand your sense of being and your sense of peace and ease and creative possibility. So you are invited to play more and more and more. Thank you so much for you.